My name is Erin. I'm 42 years old, I live in suburban Ohio, and I'm the mother of a 17-year-old girl named Mia. Though lately I say that with a kind of hesitation, like I'm unsure if the word mother still fits the shape of our relationship. I used to think raising a daughter would be like tending a garden. Give it sun, water, love, and it would bloom into something beautiful. But somewhere along the way my daughter grew thorns. And now I can't get close without bleeding. I used to write little notes and leave them on her dresser. Just dumb things like, "You'll do great on your math test." Or, "Love you always even when I'm annoying." She used to smile when she saw them. Now she doesn't even read them. One time I watched from the hallway as she balled it up and tossed it in the trash without a glance. I stood there for a full minute, the coffee in my mug cooling in my hand. This morning she came downstairs in ripped jeans and one of those tiny black tops that look more like bras than shirts. I didn't say anything at first. I've been trying this new thing where I just let things go, pretend like I'm not worried about the way she's dressing, the people she's texting, the constant cloud of secrecy that follows her. But when I saw the hickey on her neck, purple and blooming like a bruise, something in me cracked. "You're not going to school like that," I said, reaching for my keys. "Go change." She didn't look at me. Just kept scrolling through her phone like I was a ghost. "Mia, I'm serious." "So am I," she said, finally glancing up. Her eyes were cold, sharp. "You don't control me." She said it so flatly, so calmly, like it was a fact, not defiance, not rebellion, just a correction. Like I'd gotten it wrong. I stood there frozen, and something in the silence between us grew larger, louder. A void I didn't know how to cross. She left the house 10 minutes later without changing. I didn't stop her. I just watched from the window as she walked to the car of some boy I didn't recognize. A beat-up silver Mustang with tinted windows and exhaust that growled as it pulled away. I didn't cry. Not then. Not until later, when I was washing dishes and found her baby spoon in the back of the drawer. The one with the little duck handle she used when she was teething. That broke me. I feel like I've lost her, but not all at once. Not in a way that would allow me to grieve cleanly. It's been death by degrees. A vanishing. One small door closed after another. Until I was alone in a house filled with her laughter's ghosts. I started keeping a journal again. I haven't written in years, but I need a place to put the things I can't say to her. Like how I wake up every night wondering where she is. Like how I miss the way she used to lie on my chest after nightmares, trusting me to make it all go away. There's one entry I keep going back to. I wrote it a month ago. I don't know who this girl is anymore. And the worst part? I'm starting to wonder if she doesn't know me either. But today something happened that made all of this feel even more fragile, more urgent. I got a call from her school. They said she didn't show up to class. That no one had seen her all day. I texted her. No response. Called twice. Straight to voicemail. That was 6 hours ago. And now it's dark outside. And I'm sitting at the kitchen table, my phone in one hand, her baby spoon in the other, staring at the front door like I can will her through it. Because if she doesn't come home tonight, I don't know what kind of story this will become. I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room all night with the lamp on, the curtains half drawn, like some part of me still believed Mia would come home and see the light and think, "Mom's still up. She cares." By 3:12 a.m., I'd called every number in her phone I could get my hands on. Most of them went to voicemail or rang endlessly. One boy, someone named Caleb, picked up. He sounded groggy and annoyed. "She's not with me," he muttered. "I don't even talk to her like that anymore. Try Nate. The guy with the Mustang." And just like that I had a name. Nate. It was something. A thread. And at that hour even a fraying one felt like hope. I found him on Instagram. Mia follows him. His profile was full of black and white photos of cigarettes, old cars, and shirtless mirror selfies. He looked 19, maybe 20. Way too old for her. I stared at his face for a long time, trying to imagine my daughter smiling at him, trusting him. I sent him a message. "Hi, I'm Mia's mother. She didn't come home last night. Have you seen her?" No reply. Just the seen notification that sat there like a stone in my chest. By 6:40 a.m., I was at the school parking lot, waiting like some half-crazed vigilante. I told myself it was better than sitting at home. At least here I might catch her. Or him. Or someone who knew something. That's when I saw the Mustang. Pulled in smooth, engine rumbling like a threat. Nate stepped out wearing a black hoodie and aviators like some movie cliché. But Mia wasn't in the car. I didn't think. I just moved. Hey, I said, stepping in front of him. He flinched, then looked at me annoyed. Do I know you? I'm Mia's mother. That made him pause. The annoyance turned into something cooler. Calculating. Okay. She didn't come home last night, I said. She left in your car yesterday morning. Where's she? He smirked. Actually smirked. I dropped her off at some friend's place. She didn't say where. She said she'd text you. She didn't. He shrugged. That's not my problem. And then he tried to walk past me like I was a piece of furniture. I grabbed his sleeve. I swear to God, I said, voice low, if she's in trouble if you. He pulled his arm away. Look, Lady Mia's not some little kid. She does what she wants. Maybe you should figure out why she doesn't want to come home. That hit like a slap. I just stood there as he walked away. Maybe he was lying. Maybe he wasn't. But either way, he was right about one thing. Mia doesn't seem to want to come home. And that truth is more terrifying than any lie he could have told me. I called the police that afternoon. They told me they couldn't file a missing persons report yet. Mia's 17. Not legally a runaway. Not unless there were signs of danger. Give it a little more time, they said. Time? As if that's what I have. As if time hasn't already taken her in pieces. Later that night, around 11:20 p.m., my phone buzzed. One new message. Unknown number. It was a photo. Blurry. Taken from inside a dark room. Mia, my Mia, lying on a mattress on the floor. Her eyes closed. Hair tangled. Lips slightly parted like she'd been crying or sleeping or both. There was no caption. No location. Nothing. Just her face. Like a ghost trapped in someone else's life. And that's when it hit me, this wasn't rebellion anymore. This wasn't a phase. This was something worse. Something deeper. She's not just pushing me away. She's drowning. And I have no idea how to save her. I stared at that photo for almost an hour. Zooming in. Zooming out. Looking for clues, curtains, paint color, objects on the floor, anything that might tell me where she was. But the room was bare. Just a mattress, a shadowy wall, and her. The way she was curled up, arms slung over her face like she was trying to disappear into herself, it didn't look like sleep. It looked like surrender. I tried calling the number that sent it. It rang twice, then went dead. No voicemail. No chance to beg, threaten, plead. I sent a dozen texts anyway. Who is this? Where's she? Please. I just want to know she's safe. Nothing. I barely remember calling my sister Laura, but she showed up 10 minutes later with her coat still half-buttoned. She looked at the photo and immediately sat down like the floor had given out beneath her. We need to go to the police again, she whispered. But the cops gave us the same script. She's 17. This could be voluntary. No signs of injury in the photo. No confirmed danger. No crime to act on. I almost laughed. Or screamed. Or both. She looks terrified. I said, slamming the printout on the desk. Does that not count for anything? The officer, mid-50s, thinning hair, a permanent frown carved into his face, sighed like I was just another hysterical mother. Ma'am, teenagers go through things. They run off, they make bad choices. Sometimes they just don't want to be found. That line cut straight through me. Because somewhere in a place I don't want to admit, I'd wondered the same thing. What if Mia wasn't taken? What if she left? But why? What had I missed? What had she been carrying that I couldn't or wouldn't see? After Laura went home, I went into Mia's room. I hadn't touched it since she vanished. The air still smelled faintly of her coconut shampoo and some sharp chemical scent I couldn't place. I sat on her bed and opened the drawer I never used to touch. It was chaos, scraps of paper, gum wrappers, tangled jewelry, makeup brushes caked in shimmer. And underneath it all, a small spiral notebook with stickers peeling off the cover. I opened it like it might explode in my hands. The first few pages were nothing: sketches, lists, lyrics. But then about a quarter in, I found something else. A series of entries. Written messy, emotional, raw. Sometimes I feel like she doesn't see me. Like she's looking through me and seeing the daughter she wanted instead of the one she has. I keep pretending I'm okay. But I'm not. I think I hate who I've become. And I don't know how to get back. If I vanished, I wonder how long it would take her to notice I'm gone. An hour? A day? I had to stop reading. I couldn't breathe. Because I had noticed. Of course I had. But maybe I'd noticed the wrong things: the outfits, the silence, the attitude. Maybe all her pain had been right there in front of me and I'd been too busy trying to fix the symptoms to ask what was underneath. There was one last entry dated 2 weeks ago. He listens. That's why I keep going back to him. Even when it hurts. Even when I know he's not good. He makes me feel something and it's better than feeling nothing. My hands were shaking. Even when it hurts. He makes me feel something. Nate. It had to be Nate. The Mustang boy with dead eyes and a smirk too smooth for someone that young. But it was more than just him, it was what he represented. A place to pour everything I hadn't caught, hadn't held. She wasn't running toward him. She was running away from me. I clutched the notebook to my chest and let myself cry for the first time since she disappeared. Not just for her. For me too. For every moment I'd let slip between us like sand through my fingers, for every time I said, maybe later, or, you're just being dramatic instead of, what's wrong? I didn't sleep. Again. But around 4 a.m. my phone buzzed. This time it was a voice message. Just 8 seconds. I pressed play, heart pounding. It was her. Mia. Her voice sounded muffled like she was hiding, whispering. Mom. I'm okay, I think. I can't talk long. Please don't try to find me. I need time. I'm sorry. Then nothing. Dead air. But in those 8 seconds I heard everything. The fear. The hesitation. The hope. And maybe, just maybe, the beginning of a thread we could follow back to each other. I played that voice message over and over. 8 seconds. Her whisper, that tremble at the end. The pause before I'm sorry, like she didn't know if she had the right to say it. And yet she called me Mom. Not Aaron. Not whatever. Mom. That word felt like breath after being underwater too long. She said she was okay. But she also said, I think. I held on to that doubt like a lifeline. Laura was the one who forced me out of my paralysis. We're not waiting around for another message, she said, storming through my front door in sweatpants and a ponytail that meant business. We find her. Now. But she said, She's 17, Laura snapped. She says she needs time. But what if what she really needs is to be pulled out before she sinks too deep to even ask for help? She was right. Mia might think she's in control, but from the entries in that notebook, from the photo, from her voice, she wasn't. She was flailing. And I'd be damned if I let her drown because I was too afraid of pushing her further away. I started with the number that sent the photo. Ran it through a reverse search site. It didn't give a name, but it gave a hint. Registered in Middletown, 20 miles out. That was enough. Laura and I drove down there that afternoon in her SUV, neither of us speaking much. She kept glancing at me like I might shatter if she said the wrong thing. I probably would've. Middletown is the kind of place that forgot how to take care of itself. Peeling paint on every corner, liquor stores next to gas stations next to boarded-up shops. The kind of town where kids disappear and no one asks questions. We started near the bus station. I had a printed photo of Mia in my purse, her sophomore year ID picture. Long brown hair, no makeup, half smile. Back when she still came home after school and told me what songs she liked. Most people just shook their heads. One man squinted, then said, might have seen her near Oak and Fifth. Place where that tall guy, what's his name? Nate, sometimes crashes. My heart slammed in my chest. We followed that lead to a 2-story house with broken blinds and a rotting porch. You could smell mildew before you even knocked. The door was answered by a girl no older than 19. Dyed red hair, black eyeliner smeared like bruises. You with child services or something? No, I said. I'm Mia's mom. Please. I just need to know if she's here. Or if you've seen her. The girl hesitated. Something shifted in her eyes. I haven't seen her today. But she was here. Couple nights ago. Stayed in the back room with Nate. Is she okay? I asked. Her face darkened. You should get her out of here. She stepped back and let us in. The living room was a mess, beer cans, an ashtray overflowing, TV on mute with static dancing across the screen. The air smelled like sweat, weed, and something sourer. She left yesterday, the girl said, leading us down a hallway. Said she needed space. Took her backpack. Didn't say where she was going. The room at the end was small. Mattress on the floor. A hoodie on the chair. Lip balm on the windowsill. Mia's. I picked it up and held it to my chest. It was stupid, I know, but it still smelled like her. That's when I saw it, scribbled on the back of a crumpled envelope near the mattress. A note. If you come looking, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to punish you. I just don't know how to be myself around you anymore. I'll be at the place we went when I was little. The one with the cliffs. I need to remember who I was before everything broke. The cliffs. Lake Harlan. It hit me like lightning. She was talking about that overlook where we used to go in the summer, before everything started falling apart, before her dad left, before the fights, before she started wearing armor I couldn't see through. I grabbed the note, thanked the girl, and we ran. By the time we got to Lake Harlan, the sun was hanging low, bleeding red and gold across the water. The wind was sharp. The kind of cold that seeps through your sweater and into your bones. I spotted her silhouette before I even fully parked the car. Mia. Sitting on the edge of the cliffs, legs dangling, hoodie pulled up over her head. She looked small. Fragile. Like a question that hadn't been asked yet. I walked toward her slowly, quietly. Not wanting to scare her. Not wanting to spook whatever fragile trust had led her here. Mia, I called, voice trembling. Please don't jump. She turned her head. I'm not going to jump, she said flatly. I just wanted to feel something real again. I stopped a few feet behind her. My breath caught in my throat. I wanted to touch her. I didn't. You scared me, I whispered. That photo, the message. She didn't say anything for a long time. Just stared out at the lake, at the shimmer of light on the water like broken glass. I thought he loved me, she finally said. Nate. But he didn't. Not really. He just liked the way I needed him. My knees gave out. I sat on the cold ground behind her, heart in my throat. I wanted to tell you, she said. So many times. But you were always disappointed. Or tired. Or distracted. She turned to look at me then. Eyes rimmed with red, cheeks hollow with things she hadn't eaten and things she hadn't said. I'm sorry, she whispered. But I didn't know how else to disappear. I crawled to her slowly. And this time, when I reached for her, she didn't pull away. I wrapped my arms around her and just held her. Like I used to when she was 5 and the monsters in the closet were still imaginary. This time, I didn't tell her everything would be okay. I didn't promise anything I couldn't keep. I just held her and let her cry into my neck. We sat like that for a long time. Mia in my arms, her body still trembling from the aftershocks of everything she'd been holding inside. The wind whipped around us on the cliffside, pulling at her sleeves, our hair, the edges of memory. It was the first time I'd held her in months. Maybe years if I'm being honest, not physically, but in that deep, emotional way only a mother can. The way you hold your child when they're not just tired or sad, but broken and too proud to say it out loud. I thought I knew pain before this. Divorce. Disappointment. Loneliness. But none of it compares to seeing your own child look at you like you're a stranger, and realizing it's because you stopped showing up. She fell asleep in the car on the way back. Her head against the window, mouth slightly open, hands tucked into the sleeves of the hoodie she took from that house. The hoodie wasn't hers. It was Nate's. I wanted to rip it off her. Burn it. But I didn't. I let her keep it. Sometimes letting go means choosing your battles, even when everything inside you is screaming. I didn't take her home right away. Instead, I drove us to Laura's house, where it was warm and quiet and not filled with the ghosts of all the arguments we'd left in every corner of our own. Laura let us in without a word, handed me a cup of tea, and quietly made up the guest room with fresh sheets. Mia didn't wake up. She crawled into bed fully dressed and was out again in seconds. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in Laura's kitchen, watching the steam rise from my mug until it vanished. And that's when the storm hit. Not the weather. Her storm. She woke up around 3 a.m. screaming. Full-on, blood-curdling, nightmare-born screams. I dropped my tea, rushed into the room, and found her curled up against the wall, sobbing so hard her whole body shook. Don't let him near me, she choked out. Don't let him find me. I knelt beside her, touched her arm gently. She flinched. It's okay, I whispered. He's not here. You're safe now. You're with me. It took her a long time to calm down. I just sat there with her, saying nothing, my hand resting on hers until the tremors faded and her breathing leveled out. Then she spoke, voice hoarse. Quiet. Too adult. He wasn't just mean. Nate. He didn't always listen when I said no. He said I owed him. That I was lucky someone like him even looked at me. Every syllable cracked something inside me. I wanted to scream. To break something. To find that boy and destroy every inch of the smug, manipulative shell he used to trap her. But I didn't. I stayed still. Let her speak. Let her own it. That's what she needed. Not my rage. My presence. I thought he saw me, she said. Because you didn't. She looked at me when she said it. Not with malice. Just truth. I wanted to deny it. To say that's not fair or I was trying my best, but that would have been about me, not her. So instead I nodded. I know. And I'm so sorry, baby. I see you now. I swear to God I do. She cried again, but softer this time. The kind of tears that cleanse instead of corrode. In the morning we talked to a counselor. A woman Laura recommended who specializes in trauma in teens. Mia didn't say much, but she didn't refuse to go. And that was something. The therapist talked to me alone for a few minutes afterward. She said something that stayed with me since. Sometimes the only way back is through the fire. You're in it now, both of you. But you're walking through it together. She's right. The next few days were a blur of hard conversations. Police reports. Therapy. Locking Mia's phone away. Filing a restraining order. Watching her start to flinch a little less every time the doorbell rang. I slept on the floor of the guest room for 3 nights just to be close in case the nightmares came back. They did. But each time she let me hold her afterward. And every time she let me in, even just a little, I saw it. The girl I remembered. The one who used to leave glitter trails all over my carpet and beg me to braid her hair like Elsa before bed. The one who used to believe I could fix anything. That girl isn't gone. She's just buried beneath a layer of bruises the world put there. And I'm going to help her find her way out. Not by rescuing her. Not by fixing it all. But by staying. By finally learning how to see her. We've been living at Laura's for almost 3 weeks now. 3 weeks of soft landings, of cautious steps. 3 weeks of trying not to break the spell of safety we finally, tentatively, woven around ourselves. Mia sleeps with the door cracked open now. It was her idea. I don't like being closed in, she said quietly one night, her eyes not quite meeting mine. It's a small thing, but it tells me more than anything she says in therapy. She's still quiet. Still flinches if someone knocks too loudly. Still wears long sleeves even when it's warm. I haven't pushed. Her therapist says control is everything right now, letting her decide what she shares when she speaks, what parts of her she's ready to show. But I can feel her drifting back toward me. Not all at once. Like a tide returning after a long, bitter winter. The other night, I walked into the kitchen to find her sitting at the table sketching in her notebook. The same one I found buried in her drawer, the one filled with aching entries and invisible ink. She didn't hide it this time. She didn't slam it shut. She just looked up at me, pen still in hand, and asked, "Do you want to see?" My throat closed up. "Only if you want me to." She turned the notebook around slowly. Her fingers trembled just a little. It was a drawing. Of the cliffs at Lake Harlan. The curve of the rocks, the jagged edge, the lake stretched out below. And on the cliff's edge 2 figures. One small. One taller. Hands clasped. "I drew us," she said. "The way it felt when you found me." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. "It's beautiful." She watched me for a moment, then whispered, "I didn't think you'd come." That night. I thought I'd burned that bridge too far down. I almost didn't, I admitted. Not because I didn't want to. I was just scared. Scared I'd already lost you. She nodded slowly. Me too. There are no words for that kind of moment. Just breath. Just the long, quiet understanding that comes when 2 people finally stop performing and start being real again. Mia is still not ready to go back to school. And I'm not forcing it. We're working with a counselor who's helping set up a homeschool program for the time being. Right now, healing is more important than algebra. But she's drawing again. She's eating. She laughs sometimes when we watch old Vine compilations or talk about the time she tried to convince me she was allergic to broccoli in 4th grade. The darkness isn't gone. But there's light again. Little flickers. Enough to see the path forward, even if it's slow. Last weekend, she handed me a folded piece of paper. No explanation. Just pressed it into my palm like it was something holy. It was a letter. Not addressed to me exactly, but written for me to read. Dear Mom. I know I've been hard to love lately. I didn't mean to make you feel like a failure. I just didn't know how to tell you I was hurting without feeling like a burden. I thought if I made enough noise, you'd hear me. But all it did was make us both tired. I want to come home. But I don't want the old home. I want a new one. One where we can be honest. Where you don't pretend everything's fine and I don't have to scream to be seen. If you want that too, maybe we can build it together. I cried. Not the soft kind of cry. The shaking, ugly kind. The kind that lets the weight you've carried slip off your shoulders at last. I found her in her room that night and read the letter aloud, word for word, even though she must have memorized it before giving it to me. When I finished, I said, "Let's build it." Whatever it takes. She didn't say anything right away. She just leaned against me, let her head rest on my shoulder. And I knew right then we were already starting. We moved back into our house on a Thursday. It was raining, not heavy, just enough to slick the roads and fog the windows. Mia sat in the passenger seat, hoodie drawn over her head, backpack curled against her chest like armor. She didn't say much. Just watched our street roll past, each house familiar and foreign at the same time. I'd spent the week before scrubbing the place down. Not just cleaning, cleansing. I took down old photos that made her wince and put up new ones. Her art. A Polaroid of us from when she was 10, laughing in matching sunglasses. I repainted her room the soft gray blue she used to love. The one that reminded her of winter skies. When we pulled into the driveway, she hesitated. "You don't have to go in yet," I said gently. "We can sit here." "I'm scared," she admitted. I didn't lie to her. "I am too." She nodded, then opened the door and stepped out. Not with confidence, but with courage. It was the most honest kind of strength. Inside, the silence was thick at first. But she walked from room to room slowly, trailing her fingers over walls, pausing at her bedroom door. She looked back at me. "It smells like lavender," she said. "Did you light one of the old candles?" "I bought a new one," I said. "Thought maybe we could make different memories this time." She didn't say anything. Just pushed her door open and stood in the threshold, staring at the bed, the desk, the fresh stack of sketchbooks I'd left there like an offering. She turned to the mirror. The one on her dresser. For a long moment, she just stared at her reflection. I watched her watching herself, and for the first time in months, she didn't look away. Later that night, we sat on the couch with a blanket between us. The kind of quiet that used to feel painful now felt peaceful. Like neither of us needed to fill the space. She picked at her fingernails for a while, then finally said, "Sometimes I still feel like I'm broken. Like I'll never be the girl I used to be." I didn't tell her she was wrong. I didn't tell her she was fine. I told her the truth. "I don't want you to be the girl you used to be. I want you to be you. However that looks. However long it takes." Her eyes welled up, but she didn't let the tears fall. She leaned into me again, that same gentle pressure from the cliff, and I knew she was still letting me back in. Every morning now we sit at the table together. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't. We're learning each other again. There's still therapy. There's still fear. There are still nights she closes her door and I hear muffled sobs through the wall. But we're here. Together. Building that new home, one cracked brick at a time. And sometimes when she catches her reflection in the mirror, I see it. Not the shattered girl. Not the ghost she thought she had to become to survive. But a young woman staring back at herself, not with shame, but with recognition. She's coming back. And I am too. And for the first time in a very long time. I believe we're going to be okay.